experienced agile coach from UK, and he has participated in digital transformation of Sky and Marks and Spencer. So it's famous companies. Whatever I would like to mention that Steve currently is focusing on lean UX transformation or adaptation for GiveGAF. It's a virtual agile mobile network. So it's very interesting topic to maybe at the end you can add several, I don't know, items about in common what is this, what would be about the, I don't know, innovation way. Yeah, we would appreciate some of your thoughts. And the topic of our workshop is facilitation and engagement in the new normal, where we are in remote workplace. So Steve, please go ahead. So I would answer to your questions, colleagues. You can use chat box just to answer, to write the questions. You can use sometimes microphones, but I would be ask you to be accurate with that. Maybe by approval or ask before in chat. Can I ask the question? So please, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's start. Okay. Okay. Right. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Yes. Screen. I want to share this one. Right. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. As we just said. Oops. Hang on. Move this out of the way. So yeah, so this is the title of my talk. It's actually moved on now. So this is probably slightly different to what I would normally talk about, but it was about facilitation engagement in the new normal remote workplace. So as Ivan already said, I'm Steve Wells, and I've created something called Agile Simulations, which is just a website and a portal for online activities, agile games, this kinds of things, which you'll see as we go along. That's my LinkedIn account there if you want to join and discuss this more, and there's my email. Unfortunately, I haven't got the email working on Agile Simulations yet, so that's from an old company, but feel free to email me on that. Okay, yeah, as I already said, I've been Agile coach, Scrum Master for many years. Big front end and back end developer before that, kind of full stack. Worked at Sky and M&S, Clearbank, who you may not have heard of, but they're the first new clearing bank in the UK for 250 years. So quite an interesting agile and challenger bank there to work for. GiveGAF, yeah, did a lot of work there with Lean UX. And I've just spent a lot of time talking about these kind of lean and agile kind of practices and how we move towards kind of framework agnostic agile. That's kind of where I'm coming from, I think, really. Anyway, on to the talk. So obviously, as we all know, and we all know why, clearly, there's been a big shift in working from home recently. So a lot of people, virtually all my colleagues are working from home. I only know one person at the moment who's going into an office in this area. So it's a very different workplace. Everybody's working from home. Big companies are saying, we don't want people to come back to the office. You know, we're going to let them work from home, and they're realizing that it actually makes sense because people are more engaged because they're working at home and that they don't have that long horrible commute every day, and they're actually more effective at home in a lot of cases. So you know, Facebook saying that it expects half their employees to work remotely over the next 5 to 10 years. Big banks, even the banks are very much driving this forward. So the Barclays particularly are saying they don't want people coming back for this year at least, and not even for the foreseeable future. And here, this is a very interesting one. I quite like this story because this is the Welsh government saying their goal is for at least 30% of people to work from home in the next 5 years, which is, for a government to say that, is quite interesting because it means obviously a big step change in how we work. You know, they want people to work from home for all kinds of reasons, because the environmental impact, infrastructure impact, and so on, and also hopefully we can start regenerating like local economies, not have all the money concentrated in the cities, and then, you know, there's just so many reasons why it's good for people to work from home. And here's a recent little poll that somebody put up on LinkedIn, which again was very interesting. So if we look at this, the most popular things are over half the people, 52%, say that 1 to 2 days at the workplace would be their preferred way of working. So maybe go in once or twice a week, do a bit of a few meetings or whatever. But only less than 1 in 10 there at the bottom, so they wanted to work full-time at the workplace. So I think between 1 and 3 days, I think it's probably going to be the new normal, and I think people will get used to that, and I think it'll be good in many different ways. So yeah, so we're at the real moment, a real change in the world of work, a moment of real change in the world of work, as you can see. So it's so we've got a new normal here. Clearly, we have a new normal due to the COVID that already here. I'm sure we've all worked with remote teams before, offshore teams. I have for many times. Marks and Spencer's, for instance, all their developers work remotely. So that's an interesting Scrum Master challenge, which I'm sure some of you have probably also had. But also remote offices. Yeah, there's companies have remote offices, and it's very expensive to go to a different part of the country and fly to a different area, or get a train or a bus just to have a meeting. So, and of course, a long time ago, bosses realised that people want to work from home. They have dentist appointments. They have deliveries. They have things going on. They have workmen round, and it doesn't make sense to say, well, you have to take a day's holiday for a 10-minute dental appointment. That doesn't make any sense. We'd rather you worked all day for us, and took a 10-minute break when your parcel arrived, and then carried on. So it just makes it better for everybody, and it helps employee engagement because they don't feel pressured to have to take a day's holiday for, waste their holidays for these small things. And of course, there's always been remote workers. Even 10 years ago, as a Sky, we had a full-time developer working in Scotland, who we used to pair with all the time. So it's the new normal is obviously it's exacerbated. I think it's accelerated this move towards working from home, but it was already here, I think. So I think that's worth kind of mentioning. But of course, I've been Agile coach, Scrum Master, whatever, for many years, and this is what we do. Obviously, as Agile coaches, we get around a table. And we have people doing workshops. We have with felt tip pens and post-its and sticky notes and Lego, particularly Lego, and money and so on. Here's I don't know what this one is. This is probably the start of some kind of Scrum simulation. And of course, this one here, if you look very closely at what they're playing on the board there, this is a board game called No Estimates that was developed by Matt Phillips, and we're actually going to have a go at playing that shortly. So let's see if we can do that game. But yeah, so this is what we do. I mean, there's a lot of this going on within Agile teams. There's a lot of icebreakers, 2 truths and 1 lie. I want to describe the team as a car or an animal or whatever. I want to do context switching games. I want to play the coin game, which is another thing we're going to look at in a bit. Battleships, Agile Battleships is quite a fun kind of activity. Pairing games, team games. We do retros, we do future perspectives, we do stakeholder mapping sessions, we do value stream mapping sessions. All of these things are all very much face-to-face activities, which don't really lend themselves to just one person sharing their screen and talking and chatting over a Zoom call. And a big kind of workshopy kind of things like No Estimates game, which we'll look at later. There's Lego Flow, which is a very famous Lego building game, Get Kanban, all these kind of things. But all of these things are face-to-face activities that obviously we can't really kind of do. Flashing light there, okay. That we can't really do over Zoom. So how is it different? I started thinking about this at the start of lockdown. I started thinking, how is this different? What is Zoom taking away? What are we missing by attempting to do these kind of activities, these kind of face-to-face activities and collaborative activities over Teams or over Zoom? What's actually missing? And I think it's because we don't have these tactile elements. We're not picking up Lego. We're not picking up coins and playing cards, and we're not putting sticky notes on a whiteboard. And we're not really getting engaged that full extent. We're sat there listening and maybe chatting. We're sat down. We're not really going for it. So. And it's often very difficult to understand kind of the current situation. So if there's some kind of game going on, typically you'd have like one person would share their screen, and then people would have their own version that they're playing on their desk or whatever. So it's difficult to have that kind of central, understanding of what's actually going on. And of course, you can't speak simultaneously. You can't talk over each other. You can't do things at the same time. It's very difficult on that, and it's very possible and very easy to drift off. So I imagine, maybe some of you are already checking your mails or looking at whatever on your phones. Who knows? But if somebody's just talking to you through a screen, it's even less engaging than this, like I'm doing now. Even less engaging than if you just sat there in a room and somebody's talking to you. So it's very easy to drift off. And of course, you know, at the moment I can't see any of you because I'm presenting. So who knows whether you're interesting or not? I'm getting no feedback. So it's very easy for people to drift off in these kind of meetings because I'm missing that that engagement. So what if I thought these activities could be run with multiple remote players on your own machine in real time on your own browser? So basically, we're playing a game. Imagine we're playing a board game or something, or a card game. So we're playing that on our own browser, but everybody else can see what everybody else is doing, and you're having to click things, so you have to be engaged. So you're forced to be engaged because you have to click things, you have to move things around, you have to react to things, and so on and so on. We do that with these kind of agile games. Clearly, the gaming industry has been doing this for years, but not so much with agile games. And I would argue that even the simplest kind of games can really benefit from this kind of thing. So if you look at this very simple game here, this is Management 3.0, change management game, and it's very simple. Basically, each player picks a card at random, and it's got a question on it, and they answer that question, what they would do to answer that question in their organisation, and then the other players vote on whether that answer they think is good enough and whether it solves the problem that the question has raised. So typically, the way you play this, everyone would print out their own set of cards, for instance, and it will get a bit messy and a bit wasteful for the environment. Or one person would just pick a card and they'd read out what the question was, and everybody else would be listening and so on. But this game is just very simply, the cards are picked by clicking on the cards on the screen, and they appear on the screen. Then you read out the problem that you're trying to solve, you do your answer, and then the other people can vote by clicking on the up and down thumbs to say what's good. So it's just that little bit more interactive, and it's a lot easier because you've got the question on the screen that the person's answering while they're answering it, so you can more easily understand if they are answering the question or not, and it's just that little bit more interactive. Now, for these games to work, these kinds of games, they must update locally in real time. So we have to have everybody has to have the same state on their machine that's going on. They must be as close to the real thing as possible. And in fact, they should be as good or better than the real thing, if possible. And many of these games can be, as the change management game that I showed there, it's actually better because you're getting much more rapid feedback. You're getting the clicking of the voting, and you're seeing what's going on. It's kind of even more engaging than the real thing. And if you've got all the dice to randomize things, as we'll see later in the estimates game, but the computer can do that. One line of code is all you need to randomize something. You don't need dice and all those kinds of things. So in many ways, these activities can be better than the real thing. Okay. And they must be quick and easy to build. Clearly, otherwise it's not worth doing it. I mean, that game that I just showed you there is such a very, very simple game. If that's going to take you 3 months of coding to build it, you're just not going to bother. But the technology that we've got, I knocked that together in about an hour as a demo for the Management 3.0 guys. So it's if you can build these things quickly, then it's worth doing it. And that's one of the key things about this technology that we have. That's what Agile Simulations is all about. So let's have an example. Let's start off with the context switching game. Here's the URL for it if you want to go and have a play. What the context switching game is very simple. So if you look at this screen, you've got two halves. The left-hand side that says no context switching. And the idea here is that you have 3 topics, which in this case, as you can see, are dead, red, and insect. And you have a minute to think of as many things in those categories as you can. So when you're not context switching, you have 20 seconds to think of things that are dead. And then you have 20 seconds to think of things that are red. And then 20 seconds to think of things that are insects. Quite simple. And everybody on their browser, they just type furiously into these little boxes and they change automatically at the right time. And you see how many things you can come up with. On the right-hand side, we have context switching. So in this case, you have to think, you have a minute, but every time you think of something, so every time you think of something cold, next you have to think of something that's alive, then something that's an insect, then something that's cold. So you switch context, you switch between categories every time you enter something in. And typically you will think of a lot more things where you're not context switching than you are context switching. So nice little icebreaker just to demonstrate that context switching is more expensive than not context switching. And again, this was just knocked up in afternoons, very simple. Somebody suggested it. So I just built it and there we go. So it's very, very easy to play. If we get a little bit more complicated, we're actually going to try and play this game. So this could be fun. So this is the coin game. Okay. So what I'd like is if we get 6 players, hopefully around about 6 players to join us, I want you to click on the set game name right over here. Okay, and this will come up, and I want you to put in Agile Z with a capital Z as the game name, and then put your own name in. Okay, and now I'm going to change to a different screen. So what you do, you should end up with something that looks a bit like this. Okay, what I shall do, I just need to swap screens for you. 1 second. Okay, you should see something like this. So, if anybody's actually joined the game, what I want you to do is click on a role, say product owner, like this, for instance, and then select your name in there. So, has anybody actually joined the game yet?
Could you please share the link if possible?
Yeah, no problem.
Just in chat, yeah.
Yep, good spot. Yeah. Yes, I had that all set up correctly at the start until you forgot. So thank you for doing that.
No worries. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
1 second, I check.
Yeah.
I don't see it yet. Maybe something wrong.
Sorry, I've just certainly sent it to everybody. Cool. Yeah. Excellent. Cool. Okay. Let's go back to screen share. Okay. Anybody managed to join the game yet?
Yes, I joined.
Okay.
But I don't see. But I don't see where it's not active or something like that.
Have you changed the name to Agile Z? You've set the name to Agile.
No.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. Set that first. Yeah. Everybody sets their game to. Okay, I can see we've got Ruben and Ivan have joined. Is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So we can already see this actually working, across browser, and we can see what's actually going on. And we've got Zofi and Artem and George. Okay. So if you guys, if people stop joining, if you click on a product owner or tester. Okay, and I'll set myself up as a. Okay. Oops. So just set my name. Okay, so yep, Ivan's done it. Ivan is now a developer. That's good.
I would like to be.
Yeah. Excellent. So I'm going to be the customer in this one. Okay, can the rest of you guys, can you set up as a role?
Artem, please. Yeah, be a tester.
Exactly. There we go. Yeah. Just need a product owner and then we're away. Who could be? Ruben, excellent. Right, good. Okay, right. So, okay, that's it, guys. So now we're going to play. We're going to actually try and play this game. So it's very simple. What we're going to do is I'm going to start the game, and there's going to be a set of coins, and you have to, in real life, you would turn these coins over and then pass them on to the next person. Okay. Obviously, this game, you just have to click on the coins. So when I start the game, you're going to have a minute to pass all the coins over to me as the customer. Okay, so Ruben, as the product owner, you'll have to click them all first. And once you've clicked all your coins, then Ivan will have to click all his and so on. Artem will have to click all his and so on and so on and so on. So hopefully, well, let's just give it a go and see what happens. Right, off we go. Right, start clicking. Yeah, Ruben, yeah, there you go, that's it. Now in this first round, it's a batch process. So you have to click all the coins before you can pass them on. So it's like a waterfall kind of a process. So that's looking good though, looking good. Okay. Hopefully you can all see those coins being clicked. So, yeah, and anybody who's watching can see that that's looking good. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Ivan, you can start. Right. Cool. So 40 seconds we've had. We're looking at, yeah, that's it. Good. There we go. So obviously I'm the customer, so you're putting all this effort in at the moment, you're doing all this project work, doing all these coins. I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Your velocity's high in the team, that's good, but I'm not seeing anything. So yeah, get in there, get in there. Cool, okay, Artem, there we go, brilliant.
Please check my work, Artem.
Exactly, yeah,
Find the bugs.
Exactly, absolutely. Yeah. Obviously, you're realizing fairly straight away. This is why we don't do big batch processing, because this is clearly, clearly, yeah. I suspect more than one person are clicking here. So, it's like, oh, yeah, excellent. Oh, yeah. I think somebody keeps pressing show learning. So oh, lucky there we run out of time. Oh, we run out of time. So you get 2 minutes to do the game. Okay. There we go. Okay. So if we do another game, so that shows that batch is not a great way of doing it. If we run the Kanban game, then Ruben, if you want to start clicking again, so we run a Kanban round. This time the coins go straight over, and obviously Ivan, you can start clicking, so on and so on. There we go. And everybody see. There we go. You see, already we're delivering much more stuff there, so a lot better. So it just shows that small. Okay. Oh, this is great. This is much more like it. The only thing missing from this, when you play it in real life with actual coins, it's really noisy and it's brilliant. So
that's the game.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe I need to get some sound files on there. We're looking good. So there's £20 altogether to deliver. We're at 1083, looking good. Yeah, excellent. There we go. Ah, fantastic. There we look at that. So in the first round, we took 2 minutes to not deliver everything at all. So in the second round, just over half that, 1 minute and 5, we've delivered all the value to the customer. How good is that? That is pretty cool. So this last round, we're going to do it even better. You're going to get 10 seconds, okay, to deliver as much as you can. Bear in mind, we didn't do anything in 2 minutes to start off with. So in this one, the same as last round, the Kanban, but you click the coins, and also we're going to do them in value order. So we're going to deliver the biggest stuff first, which obviously, if we were doing Agile, that's what we should be doing. So final round, you got 10 seconds. Are we ready? Are you ready, Ruben? Because it's going to hit you straight away. Go! Nice stuff. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah. That might be 20 seconds. That was interesting. Oh, it should have stopped after 20 seconds. Okay. A small bug there, guys. Sorry. Okay. Okay. But anyway, if we start there, as you can see there, within a very short space of time, we've delivered a load of value. So, and basically, you typically deliver about 80% of the value in like 20 seconds. So it's a really good way of showing that you deliver the highest value items first. And obviously it's a way we can play that game remotely across all different people. So that was the coin game. And hopefully that was interesting. So let's go back and back to the presentation, and we can have, let's have a, let me share a different one. No, it's back to the thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And let's get presenting. So, but hopefully you see that's kind of a lot better than everybody having the coins on their own desk or doing it over a camera or something. It's actually, hopefully you see there, you all felt a little bit kind of engaged because you were clicking on things, and you could see what was going on, and that's where we want to get to with this kind of remote facilitation idea. Okay, so this next game, I don't know if anybody's played this before. This is called the No Estimates game, and this is a fantastic game created by Matt Phillip. And I've been collaborating with Matt to build this online version, and it's hopefully it's pretty cool. I think you'll like this. We've played it so far across kind of 4 continents with teams of up to like 40-50 people. So it's pretty good. It's a great way to distributed. It's a really good way to demonstrate to managers and C-suite and this kind of thing. It's a good way if they're all remote from each other, how we can bring them all together and really get them going on this game. And people do get really quite engaged in this thing, and it looks like this. This is the rest of its game. So obviously it's got some excellent branding to start with, which always helps. What we're going to do now, basically you have a set of teams, and you have to basically have a Kanban board that you have to work through. So if I just go to here to start, okay. So basically a set of cards like these, okay. And as you can see, the 4 colors are designer, developer, tester, and deployer. And each card has a set of effort on it, so can range from anything from very low to very high. And in the game, there are 25 cards, and there's an average of 21 effort points per card. Okay. So basically, you click on the cards to do your points, and each player has 4 points every day to play on these cards, and you each have a speciality. So if you're a designer, and you can put one of your design points is 1 point on the card, and if it's not your specialty, so if you are a developer, you have to put 2 points to do 1 point of design. So, okay. There are dependencies between teams. As you see at the bottom there, this card's got a dependency on the green team. And there are urgent cards. This one particularly, as you can see here, is urgent, and you lose money for every time that card's in play. So you have to get that across. So it's like expedite on a Kanban board. Cards randomly get blocked. A small percentage of cards get blocked, and deployments fail. So basically, it's that simple. You just basically click on cards and get those things across the board as quick as you can. And the idea is that you start off this game by giving an estimate of how long you think it's going to take you to get through these 25 cards. So unlike real life, in fact, much better than real life, you've got all the cards. You know how many cards there are to do. So you know the exact amount of work there is to do. You know the exact amount of effort there is on or the average effort there is on each card. And you know how many players you've got and how many points they've got. So it should be straightforward. Yeah, you should easily be able to do an estimate. So what you do, you go back to your game here. And at the start of the game, you simply put an estimate for the total project number of days here. Okay. And what you do is you can. Oh, sorry. So basically, you click on these dots on the cards here to get them across the board. And as you can see, you've got these dots up here, and it tells you in the roles at the top how many points everybody's got left. And when nobody's got any points left, you click the next button, and that moves you on to the next day. And you need to work out how many days you think the whole project is going to take. So, so again, to set the game off, you do the same thing. You set the game up, same as it was before, Agile Z. You put your name in, you pick a team, and then you pick a role, and then off you go. So I'm just going to kind of let you, obviously this is not about playing the game, it's more about showing you how it all works rather than actually doing the whole game, because we've got nowhere near enough time to play the whole thing. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you into breakout rooms, and when the breakout room arrives, it'll say you are now entering, say, the blue room. So whatever color it says, join that team, and then when you're all in your teams, just think of an estimate of how long you think it's going to take, and then just start playing. So you click on the work cards over here to move them into play. And off you go. So have fun, and we'll come back in about, say, 10
minutes remaining.
yeah. 10. You'll get very far in 10 minutes. But it's not about playing a game. It's about seeing the technology in action. So yes, give about 10 minutes, and then and we'll come back and we can discuss and see what you thought. Cool. Okay, let's see if I can do these breakout rooms. Okay, so yeah. And good luck. So if I options. Right. Okay, and let's go. Let's start. How do I start the rooms? Okay. There we go. You're on your rooms. Good luck. Right. Oh, sorry, did I put the...
Steve, we have 9 minutes remaining just to
Okay,
know.
fine, yeah, that's cool. So, yeah, no problem. Is that questions after that, or?
My suggestion maybe to have 3-4 minutes for questions.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Well, if you don't mind, again, it's up to you. We can use, for example, the Agile Community Z site for putting the questions, but better to have how to tell to in time questions. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just to give them a feel for. Obviously, the game takes,
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
so.
we limited. Yeah, I know. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll give them a few minutes, then we'll get back into the. I think some people seem to.
Sure.
Yeah. So a couple more slides to go through just to finish off. So. Maybe seems to be joining. Only Ruben seems to have joined.